Welcome to Lori's Learning Journey. Today we ask the question, what's the difference between suspense and surprise? Now you may think suspense and surprise are the same. They're actually not. Suspense, most of us love. What is going to happen next? It's why we binge things on Netflix. Perhaps I'm speaking for myself. Suspense is, I have a clue about what's going to happen, and your brain starts to answer, I wonder who it could be, who did it, what's going to happen next, right? And it's always fun if what's going to happen next is something that makes sense, but not necessarily something that you expected. So for example, let's say you're doing a series of business publications. Being able to say, here's the new thinking on our area of specialty, or a surprising thing about blah, 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 or Mary didn't realize when she did X that something terrible would happen. Now you're like, I want to know, right? I want to know. And a lot of times, particularly in business, we want to have the answer. It's better to have the ongoing conversation and get them to follow what you're saying. It's better to have a series and say, I want to know more, I want to know more, I want to know more. And if you have the answer, do it in the form of a question. Let people figure it out. It's really fun to figure out a puzzle, right? Of course it is. And one thing you may not know about the human brain is if I ask you a question, how many elephants fit in an airplane? Right now, whether you want to or not, you're asking yourself, how many elephants do fit in an airplane? You didn't even want to answer that, but you can't help it, right? So suspense is where the audience feels like they're participating because they get to imagine or try to figure out what's coming next, and they want to know what it is. Surprise is the opposite of that. Surprise is going, surprise, here's the answer. Very few people enjoy that kind of surprise. I'll give you an example in business. Let's say we've just done a big piece of research and we haven't talked to anybody about what we've heard. We just show up to the meeting and go, surprise, here's the answer. Guess who's going to like the answer? No one. You know why? Because now they're put on the spot and they don't like it and does it make sense and wait a minute. It's much better to give people an opportunity to participate. So that, let's say you're doing a presentation, the presentation should be a reflection of the conversation, not a replacement for one. So if you do have to do that, you want to create suspense, let them try to figure out what the answer is and then give them, surprise, here's the answer. But that's more suspense. You see what I mean? Give people the chance to participate. Don't just do it at the last second. It also has to do with happiness. And you're like, happiness? How does this have to do with things? The more we think about something, there's like a curve. I'm thinking about my vacation. I have my vacation. I'm thinking about having had my vacation. So the more you give people a build up to thinking about what's going to happen, the more they like hearing the answer. So in your life, when you have news for someone or you want to share something in business, how can you use the power of suspense to create a good outcome instead of using surprise to create a jarring and uncomfortable outcome? You can do it.